There's a shift happening in the business world. The hustle, the sell, the push isn't serving us. As business owners, we want real human connection. We want a partnership that means more than a handshake. We want to show up as ourselves and run a business that feels good. We want to go deeper to find solutions, and we dream of a better future for ourselves and our community. Join me as we explore a different approach to business, a more personal way to serve our clients, our team, and ourselves. This is the Soul Side of Business. Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of The Soul Side of Business. I am Ashley with Imagine Images, and I am your guide to discovering a more personal approach to business. So the topic for today comes from a conversation I was having with a fellow small business owner. We were having a very informal one-on-one meeting, and we were talking about what was going on. And this person said, I hate when you are networking or at an event or just running into someone you know, and they go, "How's business?" And for a minute, time stands still and your mind goes, well, I have 4 deadlines to make. I'm training a new person. I have to break up with a client, and I've been eating lunch all week in my car because I don't have time to actually sit down and have a meal. But instead, you just respond with the normal, good, busy. And it's very awkward, and it's just a common exchange like that, and you guys go on your way. So I want to kind of dive in a little deeper, and what is a better response we can have to this? What is a more productive, a deeper, a better way to have this conversation for both people involved? First, let's talk about why this is such a hard question to answer. It really is hard to share sometimes when you have something to celebrate, because you don't want it to come off sounding like you're bragging about something. What I find is that if you have something good to share, most people want to hear about it. If it's a trusted friend, the right group of people, they will want to celebrate with you. On the flip side, it's hard to share when you're struggling. We all struggle, and it's just something that we don't talk about. So there's never any solutions. There's never any conversation. There's never any brainstorming. And I think if we can just bring those topics up, even if it's just little, you don't have to go too deep, but just to put it out there on the table, you'll find that other people struggle with the same thing. There are solutions, there is hope. And I find that if I can open up just a little bit more in my personal or business life through conversation, it creates trust, it creates connection, and that's what it's all about. First and foremost, I believe that the best thing to take away from this conversation is that honesty is the best policy. Whether you're dealing with your clients, whether you're dealing with partners, whether you're dealing with your team, that's something that if you are exaggerating or making things up, stories, or stretching the truth a little bit, that's going to come back to bite you later. It discredits you and your client, your colleagues, your team. They're going to lose trust in you. And without trust, that's just really hard to have a relationship. And your trust is like the foremost bottom line of any relationship. And when that's broken, it's really hard to get that back. So first and foremost, honesty is the best policy. Now, I think there are different levels of honesty that you can respond to the how's business question to. And it depends on who you're talking to. The first level is very surface, very short, very business-like, that I'm good, I'm busy. And that's fine for some people you just met, people you don't know very well, someone who's in crossing, someone, sometimes you don't really care to talk to them a whole lot. So good, busy is a good conversation ender right there. But the next time you have this conversation with someone, I invite you to take it one level deeper to the second level of honesty, where you can maybe share one good thing that's going on and maybe a challenge that you're having. That's kind of what I do with this podcast when I'm having a conversation with a small business owner is I ask them what is working well, what is something that's a challenge to you right now that if you had any solution to, you would fix. So I think if you can just be a little more open, you will find that the person that you're talking to can totally see where you're coming from. might have a solution for you, might have someone in their network that they connect you with that can help you, or just say, yeah, I hear you, that's hard. And suddenly you both feel less alone. The third level honesty, and this is the deepest one, and this is almost a conversation that you would have with a really trusted friend, or a conversation that you could have with yourself actually, is how is business really? How am I doing? Am I killing it? Am I struggling? What feels good? What doesn't feel so good? It's not always fun to look at that, but it's where a lot of your problems are going to be solved. It's where a lot of your truths are going to come out. If you can take a look at your business and really be honest with yourself, you're going to find out the things you're doing right, the things that maybe need a little work, the areas where you need help on. And that's where the real magic is going to happen, when you start to address those things. As a single person running the business, a lot of times it can be very lonely when you're stuck with these thoughts of, what am I doing wrong? Am I not doing the right thing? Am I not good enough? I think we all struggle with that at some point. I think if we can bring up these topics when we are networking, when we are meeting people, because that's what networking is for, is to make connections. And if you are having a really good celebration because you're doing a good job, or if you are struggling, that is both ways of connecting deeper with someone else that you're having this conversation with. So the next time someone approaches you and says, how's business? I invite you to take maybe a thought or have something prepared that you can talk about. If you have something ready to go, that's even better. You don't even have to worry about it. Something that you want to celebrate, something that is a challenge to you right now, something that will connect you to a common theme with the other small business person. Because the more I talk to people, the more I find out that we are very much similar, and we have a lot of the same struggles, a lot of the same celebrations, and that will just make everybody feel like they're not doing this alone. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you took away something from this episode, or at least thought a little bit deeper about your responses to these type of questions. If you want to subscribe, this podcast is on YouTube. You can also listen to it wherever you find your regular podcasts. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, or LinkedIn, and I hope to see you next time.